Hello there, I'm Mal, and this is my channel update for May 18th of 2016. It's been a while since I've had a proper channel and news update, and frankly it's overdue, so let's jump into it. In this update, I'm going to discuss the community as a whole. I'm going to talk about gaming newsy type stuff that's currently related to the channel and games that will be coming to the channel. And then I'm also going to explain something new that I'm doing called Livestream Saturdays, and I'll give you all the details about that. So let's go. Let's start with community update. Well, I'm very happy to report that the community continues to grow at a solid pace, and in the last 30 days, as of the time of this recording, we've added over 600 new members to the Malcontent Collective. Yes, that's what I call you in my head, and now I've verbalized it. Anyway, this is great because it's been a little bit rough the last couple of months for the channel, but there's some big milestones coming around the corner. Both 10,000 subscribers is kind of looming, as well as 2 million channel views, and with all your folks' help, I'm confident that both those goals will be met, and those are big deals for me personally. I know that doesn't sound like a lot. 2 million channel views, these big channels get that probably in a day, who knows, but for me it's a big deal, so I appreciate the ongoing support. And I can't stress that enough. The success of this channel is completely dependent on this great community. One that, I am humbled and grateful to be a part of. Every time you share a video on social media, you like a video, you take the time to post a comment, you're helping support the effort, and I really appreciate it. So thank you all for your support, especially the people who go above and beyond. Thank you to the Patreon supporters, those that have been kind enough to gift me games, and talk to me when I kind of lose my way a little bit. That's all really, really important. I've spoken about this before. When I became a YouTube creator, I was in a pretty dark place in my life, and this community has been a giant ray of sunlight, so thank you. Thank you so much. Alright, so let's move over to newsy type stuff, and I'm changing the format a little bit of this, so, let me know what you think. I am going to include news information and things I think are relevant about the games that I am currently playing on the channel, plus what's likely to be featured on the channel. So let's start with The Division. First up, you've likely noticed that I've removed The Division from the current coverage rotation. And, it's likely to stay that way. After what could have been a promising game, I, like many, have just had it with the bugs, the hackers, and the exploits. Yes, I know there's another patch going and it's going to add content. It's supposed to fix the bugs. It's supposed to fix the hacking. But in truth, I find that highly unlikely, at least for the PC. And the active player base has just plummeted. So even if you could find people that weren't hacking, there's not very many of them to do anything with. So it's sort of a depressing state of that particular game at the moment. Now, after conducting an investigation of my own via different articles and blogs, Reddit postings, it seems that the core design for Division is responsible. It's simply flawed. Apparently, there's way too many key instructions trusted to the client side of the game, and according to Glenn Fiedler, a network game designer with previous work at Pandemic, Sony, Respawn Entertainment, amongst others, over the last decade, who now owns his own network consulting firm called the Network Protocol Company, he said, "Never trust the client." He goes on to say, "Here we have a client-side cheat program. It's poking memory locations, it's giving players infinite health, unlimited ammo, and teleporting players around the level. This indicates that the Division is most likely using a trusted client network model." Now, I'm no expert, but indeed, if Ubisoft used a trusted network model, it means that it's unlikely that the Division will ever truly be secure, even with server-side checks. There's just too many things happening on the player's PC that can be manipulated. Fiddler it did indicate that there was a much better chance that the dev team at Ubi would have a better chance of fixing the time and quick swap exploits that are currently on the console, but the PC is probably lost. For me, this was really disappointing because I enjoyed the game. It was fun to jump into this sort of RPG FPS hybrid with my friends and in a modern day setting. Again, it's unfortunate that the game is in this current state, and who knows, perhaps someday I'll return to it, but for right now, I have to take a pass, and I can't recommend anyone else buy this game. Anyway, if you want to look at the article, I will link that in the description of this video. So moving on, Master of Orion. If you're familiar with me, then you know I'm a huge Master of Orion series fanboy. And with that said, let me be clear, the current game series, Conquest of the Stars, has some fundamental issues. The difference between the Division and this one is I actually have faith in this dev team that they'll get the issues ironed out. So what's wrong with Master of Orion? Well, as of middle of May of 2016, Master of Orion is post what the team calls Phase 3. And I suspect that it was supposed to be the final phase of the early access before launching the game. What I believe happened, and mind you, this is just my opinion, but when they were getting ready to showcase the game recently at PAX East, I think the team pushed a little too hard to get new features that they could showcase. And while I don't blame them for that, there's definitely some bugs that have crept up because of it. Phase 3 included the inclusion of the Silicoid and the Darlak races, which invested new mechanics into the game, and the biggest being espionage. There's issues related to how the Silicoid function in game, the race requires no food, and there's numerous bugs and balance issues related to them. And the espionage system, while it seems to function, it's clunky, unbalanced, and frankly not very fun. So, post Phase 3, it needs to be about stopping bugs and glitches, and I've already ended 2 Let's Plays in the past month due to them, and I almost had to end my most recent Let's Play to bugs. The only way I was able to complete it was to reload backup saves and play through hours of turns and re-record my efforts. That's just not fun. That's not something I want to spend my time doing, and more importantly, if I'm upset or frustrated, then I struggle to provide you with the best commentary that I can. So I expressed this directly to the dev team. That new features are great, but, can we please make the game stable? And this was something that I think has been echoed by the community. I know what you're thinking. Wait, didn't you say you were a fan of this game, Mal? Yeah, I am, and as the series as a whole. But I don't want to obfuscate my concerns, nor will I support a bugged out mess. For me, this means I'm not going to return to Master of Orion until the next patch comes out. I've been assured by the dev team that they are diligently working on said patch, and it will be focused on stability and bug fixes. The team clearly understands that new features need to take a back seat to making the game stable. This was welcome news, and I really appreciate their efforts. The early access phase cycle will also continue, so Phase 3 will not be the end of the early access cycles. There may be several more phases, we'll see, but we know at least right now there's going to be a Phase 4. It gives us all opportunity to give them ample feedback. The dev team took to Steam recently with a post called SitRep, and the MoO devs stated, "Feedback is the most important aspect of our design philosophy for Master of Orion. And with the last early access, you spoke loud and clear. You filled the forums with feedback, and while it was painful to hear about the things you're unhappy with, it stoked a fire within us to make sure we're addressing all of it. The good news is that our early access sessions will continue, offering up not only a chance for us to work and improve the game, but also to have you keep sending us feedback about what you like, don't like, and things that need to be fixed." Well, it's always tough to hear when people are, displeased with something you're working hard on, so hats off to the devs for buckling down and working to build a great game that I know Master of Orion can be. Again, as I stated before, I am a self-admitted fanboy of the series and of this current version, so take everything I say with a grain of salt, but I do believe in the game and the dev team, and I look forward to the next update so that I can return to Master of Orion, and this time I think I'm going to be Khan Maul as part of the Terran Khanate. I look forward to being that evil scumbag. Alright, next, Stellaris. So let's talk a little bit about this. I have been playing and learning something new in virtually every session that I play of Stellaris. It's just unbelievably easy to get lost in the game, and I think it's amazing. But to be fair, it too is not without its areas of opportunity. The biggest issues are related to victory types, like the fact that you really can only win through war, the lack of meaningful diplomacy. There's some mid-game lull and exploration and excitement kind of drop, and then the late game needs to be tweaked, but that's just to keep the game engaging, and the devs are fully aware. I am, however, not the least bit concerned. After trading emails with the devs and after reviewing their plan for content updates, I'm even more impressed than I was a few days ago. Not only do they have detailed updates and fixes already coming, they're scheduling these updates. They're not DLC. They're all planned to come out before. So, named after famous sci-fi authors, the first one, called Clark, will be update 1.1. It's going to include numerous game changes, but highlights include fixes to the ethic divergence and convergence issues. Currently, pops tend to get more neutral. That's going to change. There's going to be a new end of combat summary. Sector management interfaces being changed. Diplomacy interfaces being changed. They're making improvements to the the AI, right? Notably the sector AI, so that it does things a little bit better, and that it's never quite finished. It will continue to evolve each sector. There's a whole lot of bug fixes coming and smaller UI fixes. People have been reporting late game bugs, blocking certain subplots and other developments. I haven't run into that myself, but apparently they're addressing that as well. And then performance issues, particularly if you're playing in a larger galaxy and in the late game, so they're going to address that. And then apparently the Corvette class ships are simply too good, so my guess is Nerf Bat incoming. Anyway, I'll include a link in the description of this video with the complete post from the lead developer. Moving on, Battlefleet Gothic. So this game was a bit of a surprise. I didn't think I'd like it as much. And it's a really solid game, and of course it's based on the awesome universe of Warhammer 40k. But what are my plans regarding it? Well, I've got a few things in mind. First, I'm going to complete the single-player campaign, and then I want to mess a little bit anyway, I want to mess around with the skirmishes and multiplayer. Whether or not I'll record all that, we'll see. I may. I think the multiplayer could be fun. Now, on the horizon, there's some DLCs planned. The first one is the Space Marines fleet, and that's coming next month in June. There's also a mention of a Tau fleet? Tau? T-A-U? Tau? Yeah, Tau, not Towel, Mal. And then in parentheses says Forge World DLC, and it's listed coming in the next few months, so I'm guessing sometime in the summer. You know, I'll happily spend a few bucks on DLC for this game, as long as the missions and units are interesting, and I'm hopeful that we'll see more good stuff, and not just a rehash of what we've already experienced. Again, I'll put a link to the announcements for that in the video, below the video as well. All right, so let's wrap it up here. What do we got? Oh, right, Livestream Saturdays. So recently I popped on Twitch to try my hand at streaming again, and as you know, I'm a relative stream noob, and frankly, I never wanted to do it. Months ago, however, I made one of my Patreon goals that I would start streaming since people had asked me to do it for the last couple of years. So I started this effort, and I was really happy to have the support of my friend iDead and my brother Countdown. They kind of co-hosted the first couple of events I had. And, you know, I tend to be nervous when I'm doing those, and their reassurance and technical support was invaluable, so thank you guys. But this past weekend, I decided to jump into uncharted waters without their aid, and it did not go perfectly, but it went well, and something that happened I didn't see coming. I had a great time. I was playing XCOM with the new Alien Hunters DLC, and I was just kind of testing some things out, and you know, I had my iconic soldiers there, and the people behind those soldiers, many of them were on the stream, so they're like joking around with me, giving me advice, helping to guide the campaign. We were exploring the new challenge together. It was just a totally fun experience, and again, I wasn't expecting it. So what I've decided to do is that for the foreseeable future, Saturdays will now be dedicated to live streaming. I'll begin at 12 p.m. Eastern US time every Saturday, and the first stream series is going to be XCOM 2 with the new Alien Hunters DLC and a few mods, namely the Long War Toolbox. I've upped the number of soldiers, so eventually I'll be able to field 8 at one time, and while this not only makes the game a little less stressful while I stream, but more importantly allows me to include more sponsored soldiers. Speaking of which, as I've done in the past, I'm going to draw from what I call the iconic soldier / Patreon subscriber list. If you haven't applied to join, I'll provide a link below this video, and it'll take you to a video and give you all the information you need about applying to join the team. And I'm also thinking about adding people on the spot. So if you want a chance to be on the team, then be on the stream. Team, stream. Got it? Anyway, I've spent hours recently trying to improve the Twitch channel, setting up for broadcasting a little bit better, and I'm also, I think, have my recording software dialed in. So for future streams, I'm going to record the footage at the same time that I stream. The footage from Saturdays will be cut into smaller bite-sized chunks, and I'll begin to release those on Sundays. New episodes will follow each day of the week via the YouTube channel. Now, if you'd rather watch the low-res VOD off the Twitch channel, you'll have that option the same day if you wish so. So, you know, XCOM 2 is not a long game. However, if I'm only playing on Saturdays, it's probably going to take me a while to complete it. So there's plenty of opportunities for you to join in. And I look forward to smashing more alien faces right alongside you, Commanders. All right, well, I think that's all I've got for you. I guess the last thing would be I've made a lot of changes recently to the channel. New artwork, new logo, amongst other things. So please let me know what you think. Please also let me know if you like this new format for the channel update, where I focus on providing news about the games I'm playing, recently played, or intend to play in the future. It takes a lot more time to piece together something like this, so if you enjoy it, I can certainly keep this format, and of course your ideas and feedback as to what to include are welcome and appreciated. Well, thank you very much, Malcontents, for tuning in. You people are simply awesome sauce. Until next time, I'm Mal, and I will see you later.